Well, I've got my whole Christmas thing going here, contrasting with my
Beautiful.
Elvira thing going on here. So,
I love it.
all right. Well, everyone, welcome to the Shorter Artist Hour, where I talk to my superbly talented friends that I think the world needs to know more about. And we might not talk for a full hour, but that's okay because it's the Shorter Artist Hour because I'm Susan Shorter. And today with me, I have the extraordinary fantasy painter, the accomplished tattoo artist, and the undisputed fashion icon of our community, Ms. Rain Delmar. Hey, welcome.
It. Thanks for having.
So, how were the holidays for you?
They were good. Good. I am still walking it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I have a bunch of questions, but I am very curious about. I read that you came from the Ukraine in 1999. How old were you when you did that?
12. Yeah. I just turned 12 when we immigrated.
So, did you already know how to speak English or?
No, not really. I knew some words, but for the majority of it, the first year of school was very confusing and culture shock, not to
Yeah.
mention. Hmm.
I'm just curious what that transition was like and
Um,
why.
well, in Ukraine, I was told that we're moving 2 weeks before our flight, so everything kind of happened really
Wow.
quickly. And so yeah, and then once we immigrated, uh, I realized that United States is not Disney World where you are a millionaire by delivering pizza. Things are a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
And in Ukraine, I skipped fourth grade. So I just finished third and I just started fifth in September. And when I came to US, instead of putting me in like fourth or fifth, they put me in seventh.
Oh,
So I
wow.
ended up skipping fourth, fifth, and sixth grade somehow. And yeah, the first few days were interesting in junior high. I couldn't speak English at all, and I remember walking um, from lunch. I had my little dorky backpack on,
Aw.
and I'm walking, and like these three girls just start kicking my backpack for no reason. And I didn't know what to say, but I just said stop. I just turned around like stop. They didn't stop, and after kicking my backpack, after a while, I took one of them. I slammed her against the wall. And I'm like stop, and then I kicked my butt. So that was the
Yeah.
end of the
Welcome
U.S.
to America.
Yeah. Um, but I think that was the first and last time I was bullied in seventh grade. After um, teaching myself English, I think I kind of got my footing, and by eighth grade, I was okay. My grades improved, and I got friends, so it was a better situation.
Nice. How did your parents feel whenever you decided you were going to make a creative career choice?
I think they expected it.
Yeah.
They, I think I always knew that I'm gonna be an artist, and they kind of saw it coming. But when I was in high school, they were like, "Are you sure you don't want to be a lawyer or a doctor?" Like a last hurrah. And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure." And they're like, "All right, art
Yeah.
school it is."
Yeah. Oh, good. So you went to art school. Which one did you go to?
So I went to LaGuardia High School, and then I went to School of Visual Arts for my bachelor's in illustration.
Nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
I loved art school. Do you feel like it helped or because that's such a, controversial
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
I always tell people that if I could tell myself one thing and go back in time, I would tell myself not to go to college. It sounds controversial, but I think the way that the school system is set up, I didn't get as much as I wanted out of it because the first 2 years were going over the basics that I already knew, and I felt like um, you don't really get your money's worth until you get to like later down the line in your education and you get to meet amazing instructors that make it worth it. But
Yeah.
if I had to spend like 100 grand on college, I would probably take private tutelage
Yeah.
instead.
I think I'm going to be paying off my student loans forever.
I
But
feel ya. I feel
yeah.
ya.
Jesus.
Especially as an artist, it's
Yeah.
hard to get a job after you graduate. So um, I think it should be set up differently. Oh,
Yeah. Well, and I don't know about your art school, but at mine, like they talked about art and all that wonderful stuff and taught me methods, and that was fantastic. But the business end wasn't taught, which I think should be just crucial that it's
oh
taught
yeah.
in every art school.
They
So I'm
didn't
not here
me a,
floundering and figuring out on my own.
that's right. That's right. They didn't give us a business class until the last year. And once I took that class, I realized that I didn't really want to go into illustration. And that's what made me go into tattooing. Just they kind of described what you're in for once you choose this career path. And the way they made it sound was so stifling. I felt like I couldn't go through with it.
Yeah. I don't know if I had had that class if I had gone through this. Maybe it's a blessing that I didn't have it.
Oh, yeah.
But I was going to ask you about the tattooing, how
Mhm.
that came about, like if you had an equal passion for it or if it was more of a decision so you know that you would have steady stream of income.
When I decided to go into tattooing, I actually didn't know anything about it at all.
Oh,
It was a very I just knew that I felt some sort of way about illustration, and then tattooing kind of fell into my lap. Right after graduation, me and my friends went to on this trip to New Orleans, and one of my good friends said, "Hey, can I borrow your portfolio?" And I said, "Sure." And when I get back, he said, "I have this friend. He's a tattoo master, and he's looking for an apprentice. And I gave him your portfolio, and what do you think?" And I said, "Okay, I'll definitely check it out." And that
yeah,
kind of snowballed the whole thing until I realized that, I love doing it, and it's a really good balance with the solitary way, part of painting, and then socializing via tattoos kind of gives me a balance.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
When did you start tattooing? Because I'm just thinking of your art style, and it's like it seems like it's a perfect fit for now because everything seems more painterly and creative in the tattoo world.
Yeah, tattoo industry definitely went up in leaps and bounds. I started in 2009, I would say,
Okay.
fall, and that kind of, you know, um, snowballed into like a 15-year career. So I'm very grateful for it.
That's amazing. What's the end goal? Do you want to keep pushing both until you just pass out in the chair or
Likely gonna happen. uh, I tell myself that I have 10 more years left in tattooing just until my body gives out, because I already feel it affecting my vision and my back, my hands. So I don't know. We'll see. I definitely we'll see how far I go with it.
Yeah.
If my body keeps going, I think I'll keep going, provided they don't replace us with robots who tattoo you for free.
Yeah, even hitting record for this Zoom recording thing, it's like, "Do you want your AI assistant?" I was like, "No, I don't want AI anything."
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway,
But you
but
notice how on Instagram you have to use AI. They It's almost like they make you in a search bar. I'm not sure if I understand it correctly, but
I don't
they'll
know.
say,
I haven't
"Hey,
been doing it.
your AI assistant to help you with your search."
Yes, it's just ridiculous. They're just forcing it on us. It's like, at least
Yeah.
give me the choice. But to back it up a little bit, of course, I was doing my research on your website and I saw that when you were younger, you found art to be a great way to battle your night terrors. Tell me about that.
Um, well, when I was born until about 3 years old, every night I didn't sleep and I just screamed nonstop.
Oh,
And
God.
that's where my parents didn't know what to do with me. So they took me to doctors to make sure that, I was physically healthy. And they said that I was. And then I think they took me to a child psychologist to see, what's going on. And they said, she seems okay. She's just screaming. And interesting, they took me to some kind of a witch doctor who ended up rolling an egg in my head and splitting it, and it was like a whole thing. She made my parents convert after that, which is a different story. But The nightmares persisted. I would have the same nightmare multiple times a night, every night until I was about 14. There were others as well. And there were times where I would wake up and I wouldn't recognize my parents.
Wow.
I would always point it to something in my room that nobody could see. And when I was younger, I don't know if they were my, you know, very fruitful imagination, but I would see things during the day. And so I was living in constant fear at night because I always felt that there was something imposing. So
I grew up in a very haunted house and I
you
was
did.
traumatized by it growing up. Yes, so
Oh,
I
wow.
can relate very much so to this.
You had a lot of experiences.
Yeah, yeah, to where like I was too young to even know what ghosts were,
Hmm.
so it's not like I was making that up, but waking up in the middle of the night because the TV was way too loud and then I'd go in there,
Hmm.
go around the corner and there's no TV and it's just dark and
Oh,
it's
wow. Okay.
and I've stories of waking up and running to my door because I'm terrified and the door's gone, the bookcase is gone, everything is gone.
Wow.
So I've got tons of, and I've had people laugh at me because I believe in ghosts, but I don't give a shit. It's my life experience, so
Yeah,
I can
sure.
relate hard to not, well, to being aware that there is the unexplained.
That's true. I to this day, like it's fun. I love stories of the paranormal. I love hearing people's experiences and ghost
Yeah.
stories, but I'm still agnostic about where that comes from,
Yeah.
only because part of me wants to be just shut the door on my, and be a full-blown atheist. But there's things during my childhood that I cannot explain that happened.
Yeah.
And to this day it's hard, they felt real, but it's hard for me to say if it was my mind or if it was something was there. But
Sure.
I hear stories about me being creepy about so um
Creepy makes for good art.
yeah, yeah, just standing, like staring at my parents until they wake up and let me in so I'm not scared
Hmm.
in my bed. But basically a lot of the nightmares um influenced my art a lot, and it felt like escapism after a while, to
Yeah.
the point where I had like this art tutor in Ukraine, and she ended up saying, I need to see your parents because what you're drawing is terrifying for how young you are, and I need to make sure that, you know, I don't need to call any services or anything.
Wow.
Um, and then she, I loved her. She was great. I was with her until I moved to America, and she's like, oh, that's just her.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Sounds like you
Hmm.
had the perfect support system for what you were dealing with.
She was great. She was great. I think she moved to Germany last I heard, but she was a wonderful teacher.
Now, your stuff, it doesn't fit the typical mold for fantasy art. Like I don't see a lot of dragons and unicorns and the stuff you're
Hmm.
putting out.
Yeah,
More of the emotional context of the human experience.
that's right.
And so do you ever feel like do you ever see people have like emotional reactions to your work whenever you're showing it?
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Even if they are disturbed by it, to the point where they're not sure if they like it, I embrace that too, because um, even if they don't like it, it's for a reason, and it evokes a response, and that's important to me. I want to tell um, an emotional narrative that is universal for many people. We all feel the same thing sometimes. Certain experience the whether it be loneliness or fear or angst. Some of these are universal experiences, and a lot of people come up to me, and there were a few times when they even cried, and that shocked me,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, that happens. I
Nice.
think that's the draw from my work.
I've heard that the worst reaction is no reaction.
Yeah,
So whether it's good or bad or anything, if you're invoking something in them, then you did your
exactly.
job.
We try to put out there little threads of connection.
Yeah.
In what kind of way can you connect to people? People do it with voice, with music, with art, and but what is it that I have to say resonates with you? Maybe we're having the same experience. And I love that.
Does it ever cross your mind, like, do you worry about ever being too dark for the audience? Like, are you ever putting something down, you're like, oh shit, I don't know if I should, go there?
Uh,
Or are you
yes,
fearless with it? Okay.
because I'm a lot of times I'm in the illustration circles where, it is the dragons and the fairies and the mermaids and the unicorns um and then there's me kind of like this little Trojan horse, what the fuck is that? And yeah, I've had even galleries that had experiences when they were like, we're not putting that painting up. That's too X-rated, which boggles my mind. But
Yeah.
there are thoughts, especially if I'm painting for IX, for instance. Sometimes I'm like, I probably shouldn't bring that one, even though it's honest and true.
Do you ever do any work with, sorry, I don't know this, in like publishing clients or anything, or do you work solely for galleries and private collectors?
Um, no, for the longest time, I kind of drew a very solid line about, I'm making money with tattooing. It's good money. And for art, it's something so sacred that
Yeah.
I just do what I want to do. And I don't want anybody's fingers in my pie. Um, and I just had a lot to say and I had to paint it out and I didn't want anybody's input on it. But within the last year, I kind of started to change my mind and I'm thinking of getting into magic, for instance, and I'm open to commissions now. I'm working on a commission now for somebody. So I'm open to doing a limited amount of published work um, because I feel like I could do a better balance for it now.
I could see, like, you have such an established style. I think as long as whatever you're painting still kind of fits within
Mm-hmm.
that pocket,
Yeah,
then yeah, it could be another outlet. It could bring more fans to the site and all that good
for
stuff.
sure. The smart thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. But I'm super jealous of the idea of when you paint, it's just for you. I love that.
Yeah,
And
it feels like,
dream.
you're sitting there and you're bleeding over this piece, and then it's just little personal exorcisms that help you kind of get through the week. So
I love that. I have some darker pieces like that were absolutely just therapy on canvas, but
mhm.
I'm not going to be bringing those to a LuxCon, but I'm
Yeah,
glad they exist. They need to exist for
maybe
me.
one year we all bring those pieces
I'll
and
bring our dark, dark pieces. We'll look at each other all a little bit differently.
hey, I don't know. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that
But
was
I'm
cool.
biased. I like dark work.
I do too. Well, that's another question. I guess I'll go ahead and jump to that. Who are some of your favorite artists?
Mm, living or dead.
Doesn't matter. I don't
Well,
need to interview them for the website or for the podcast.
yeah. My first love in my childhood, I loved Dali, as everybody does.
Yeah.
Um, then I discovered Beksinski. I think he's amazing. Um, Michael Cheval, really, he's a Russian artist in Florida. He is right now. He has his own gallery, and he does these absolutely beautiful, surrealist, absurdist work paintings, and he's wonderful. So he's one of my influences. I like Ad Nerdrum. Obviously, Donato's work is
Of course.
beautiful. Like his hands are out of
Mm,
this world.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right, now well, I'll have to look some of those up.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things about your art, and I saw very good evidence of it this year at a LuxCon, was that you incorporate the frame to be almost as important as the painting itself, like and with those little bitty pearls. I keep
Yeah.
thinking about that piece with the little
Yeah.
pearl. I love it. But
Oh,
so
thanks.
when you sell something like that, how do you go about shipping a piece like that? Because it becomes less about shipping a painting. It seems like you're shipping something sculptural at that point.
Yeah. I mean, that piece, it's so small. I think that the frame would be more or less sturdy, but I've had some oopsies. There was a frame for a painting called Hymen, and it had these angel wings. You might have, I don't know if
Yeah,
you've,
I've seen that one.
yeah, and there's a little bit of a chip of one of the angel wings,
Oh,
and it's rough, but I it helps to have a framer for a fiance. So if something goes wrong,
Mm.
he'll be able to help me fix it.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mummify the painting before I ship it, obviously, to give it the best chance. But
Yeah.
incorporating the frame is really fun. I don't know. It just, um, I sometimes I don't want to give people the choice of like, oh, I'm gonna change the frame to match it to my couch. Like
Yeah.
the work and the frame is part of it. Do you like it or not?
Yeah. I love that. I have a closet full of frames that I found at, yeah, flea markets or
Mhm.
secondhand places or wherever, and I just hoard them and I'm waiting till
Yeah.
they tell me what the painting needs to be to
That's
go in
right.
them.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So,
Sometimes the frame speaks also,
yeah.
and it pulls on the thread from your mind, and you're like, yeah, that idea would go great here too,
Okay.
for sure.
So
And
whenever, oh, go ahead.
so I, cool tip, repurposing mirrors into frames
Yeah.
because a lot of times there are more interesting designs for mirrors, and you could just put a masonite panel to cut to the shape, and that would be cool.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I got, I think it was a novelty mirror frame from Michael's, but it was during the Halloween time, so
Mhm.
it's all curvy and dark and gorgeous.
Mhm.
And it's wood. So I don't care that it's Michael's. I'm going
Yeah,
to use that thing.
that's, I think the frame you're referring to about the pearls, that's for Michael's.
Really? It's got some good stuff, especially when you do the Halloween theme.
Hey, no shame in the game.
Mm-mm, none at all. I was wondering, whenever you work, do you listen to music or podcasts and what ones?
Uh, Not podcasts, but I love listening to music. I like metal, melodic metal,
Yeah.
and anything that's very powerful. I love it. And I also listen to audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I listen to a lot of soundtracks because well, if I'm doing like line art or something for a children's book, and I don't need my brain as much, it's more of a tune out kind of thing,
Yeah.
then I can listen to podcasts and things. But whenever I'm painting, it has to be like no vocals or
Really?
yeah, almost
Mm,
because then I'm running two different ways. I like to be totally focused, so I do a lot of soundtracks and
that's
yeah.
cool. Huh.
I don't know. It's weird.
I, I almost need a voice
Yeah.
when I paint because I don't know what it is. My friend thinks I have ADHD, but I need to overload my brain with different stimulants while I'm painting. With tattooing too, I need to listen to like a true crime or something while I'm tattooing because I've already have the design. I'm going on autopilot and then my brain needs stimulation. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it is with me with line art. Well, I guess whenever it just depends on how comfortable I am within the piece. A lot of times with the oil and acrylic, I feel like I need to concentrate more, so I can't have vocals. But with watercolor, I'm more comfortable, so I can
Really?
just put on. Yeah,
Is watercolor easier for you than oil?
yeah, oh yeah,
Wow. For
which
me,
is
watercolor is so hard
oh yeah,
and oil is easy. Yeah, but with watercolor, I don't know. It's you there's such a slim margin for error.
yeah.
I don't know. At least for me, it's very difficult. But
In
yours is
college,
so also you
oh,
obviously have a lot
thank
of
you.
experience doing them.
In college, I was terrified of watercolor. I only did oils.
Mhm.
And I took this Professor Minetta, this adorable little old Italian man, took his class, and he just opened up the whole watercolor world for me. And
Yeah.
living where I do in this townhouse with animals, like pet hair and all of that, I haven't done oils in years. So now that I
You
have a
don't like
studio,
adding that hair to your paintings? Why not?
well, oh no,
The secret ingredient.
the secret ingredient is love. But now that I have a studio, I've dug out all my oil painting stuff, and I'm gonna try it again. But now I'm scared to do oils, and that used to be my comfort zone
Wait, why are you scared to do them?
because
Because of
it's
hair?
been almost 20 years since I've done it, and I feel like I've forgotten everything.
Ah, I feel like you're gonna do great.
I
Remember
know.
that Gandalf piece you did? Was it at Gen Con?
Yeah, the pencil piece.
What was it, pencil or watercolor?
It was pencil for
Yeah, cool.
Gandalf.
You're just like a master of everything. That's
Oh,
cool.
thank you. I'll add that to my website from Rain.
Quote me on that.
Well, another expression of art and beauty is your freaking wardrobe. I and my friend
Oh,
Tashina are obsessed with like your jewelry pieces and just the wonderful little things that you find.
oh, thanks.
Where on earth do you gather these items?
I mean, everywhere. I don't wear expensive clothing. I don't, a lot of my outfits are pretty, on the budget. I don't know, I just like fashion and I like what I
Yeah.
like. Uh,
It's just being able to find, I guess, because I'm here in the Midwest in a world of like TJ Maxx and Walmart, there's not a lot of places to go to find unique items.
I
So,
for jewelry specifically, especially I love lately I've been really into bone jewelry, so a lot of bones that you could get on Etsy because there's a lot of small creators who, it's their passion.
yeah.
But as far as just regular clothing, I feel like I can throw stuff together from like Amazon and
Yeah.
TJ Maxx. Things can work.
Yeah,
And
this thing's Amazon, as is a lot of the things that I'll wear at art shows and stuff, but it's such a
yeah,
gamble because
same,
I never know if it'll
same.
fit.
Yeah, I don't have I also like to thrift sometimes. That's cool. I don't have like a specific, I never wear designer, so I don't know
Yeah,
anything about that. But yeah, just something that I like, I just throw it together. It's also kind of self-expression, I think.
absolutely. I remember I used to do it now and again, get a little more wild with my wardrobe, but I was so
Mhm.
worried of like, oh, they're going to think I'm that strange witchy girl. But now I hope they think
That's
I'm that strange
awesome.
witchy
Yeah.
girl, you know?
Yeah, for
One of the
sure.
beauties of aging. But and also kind of in the fashion thing, your costumes. I mean,
Oh.
every year now it's getting to where we all look forward to see what you and Dan are
Oh,
going to be
thanks.
wearing.
I mean, no pressure, right?
No, not at all. I think when I first met you, you were Nandor and Naja.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah, well, I didn't even recognize you whenever you came up to the table. I was like, "Oh, this looks great." And you're like, "You know who I?" I'm like, "Holy shit."
that was a fun thing. We did not expect people. I should have known, but apparently that show is very wild in the art community, and
Yeah.
that tracks. So that was fun, and also Dan really does look like Nandor for sure, and
Yes.
he's got the accent down. I think my favorite though, I've wanted to do this for a decade. I wanted to go as Quasimodo because he's my favorite, one of my favorite characters. And I was like, oh, but I need an Esmeralda. And I'm like, Dan, can you come through? And
He
he,
was such a badass. I have a picture with you guys and me in that show. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
And then last year was the pink Victorian thing.
Oh yeah, it was Marie Antoinette
Okay,
and the
fantastic.
King. Yeah, yeah. That was a very last minute thing because we threw a costume party at our house
Yeah.
a few years ago, and it was just the theme was Versailles. So everybody came in these like big gowns. So I'm like, well, Dan, we can go as peanut butter and jelly, or we could just recycle our previous costume. That's what on the menu. So
Very cute.
hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of, well, gosh, I am curious to see what you guys are going to wear this year, but you do know you have competition. Grant Cooley's really been kicking ass with the costumes as
No, I
well.
am impressed. That was good. That was good. I don't know what to do for that next year. I kind of want to go as um the Eye of Sauron. We'll see, maybe. That would
That
be cool.
neat.
Yeah.
A couple ideas. Well, one, I didn't get it finished in time this year, but I know I'm older than you, but Gem and the Hologram Stormer, she was the blue-haired one, rock star thing. But I created a costume that's
Is that
almost
is
done.
that a cartoon or
Yeah, it was a cartoon in the
okay.
80s,
Hmm.
and they all had different colored hair, and they were magic and awesome.
Cool, cool.
Um,
So next year?
yes, so I'll either be that or my friend Tashina and I were talking about going as Agatha and her girlfriend who was like Lady Death or something like that. What was she? Did you watch the Agatha show?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you have homework. She's a really cool witch.
I feel like I missed a lot of, like core American television.
Well, this is newer. This is this past year.
Oh, it's not from back when.
No, Agatha's new.
Okay, okay. I'll
Gosh,
add it to my queue.
WandaVision. It's the follow-up to that, if
Okay.
you saw that one.
Netflix or Prime?
Anyway. So, do you have any conventions booked already for next year or any that you don't plan to miss?
I have, let's see. I have to hear from about 10 different ones. So we'll see what
Yeah.
I next year. I definitely, plan to, I'm doing AX, um, plan to do Gen Con,
Yeah.
a few little small ones. I want to try those like anime con things just to see. Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you stick out like a sore thumb, it drives sales. We'll see.
It could.
But in January, I'm doing a guest spot for tattooing in Maryland.
That
So
would
that's
be
gonna,
that would be really cool. Have you done any of the oddities and curiosities ones? I could see your work doing well there.
yeah, I just did the Dark New Jersey. That was an oddity convention. And then New York convention just passed, but I forgot. I did it last year, but I forgot to apply. So, which happens a lot.
Yeah. I sometimes find out that they had the call for entries like after everybody's like, well, fingers crossed, hope we get in. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, that happens to me. I feel like every year with Dragon Con. I'm like, damn, missed it again.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Dragon Con?
Mm-mm.
I haven't either.
But I put a notification on my phone, so this February it's go time. Definitely gonna apply.
Right on. Well, hopefully we both get in this year and we can
Have
try
you
it
been?
out. I haven't been yet.
Okay,
So
but you
we'll
want to
see.
do it too, right?
Yeah, I hear fantasy does really well down there. So, and I have all these
So do
new
I.
pieces, larger paintings planned to hopefully be ready for next year.
Although I'm scared a little bit about Dragon Con. I hear it's like a giant party. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah. And I'm confused with like how it doesn't seem like it's like a typical convention. Like I know there's a wall where people can display some of their stuff and it just seems different. And so I'd have to figure out how they do things there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a whole new learning process for sure.
Yeah. Well, most importantly, how's Goblin?
He's good. Dan's picking him up from daycare right now.
So sweet. I'm
He
obsessed.
is. He's such a cute baby.
Is he adjusting well to the new home and everything?
Oh, he adjusted right away. And we knew because when we first brought him here, there was no furniture, no anything. And he started running, having zoomies, and then took a shit in the middle of the living room. I'm like, all right,
Aw,
great. And
that's
he never does that. So I'm like, okay, thank you for christening the home.
yeah.
Nice.
He had to put his scent down. It's his home
Of
now.
course, mark that territory. Yeah. But no, he's doing great. And the cats are, they're have more space to roam. So
That's good.
a good move. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine are upstairs sleeping, which I'm so glad because Luna is just a hellion. She would have been up here all over the place.
I love that you got her.
She is
I
insane.
love it.
She's she's something else. I've never had another cat like her. She's special.
Still a kid, right?
Well, she just turned a year.
Okay.
So
So
she's still kitteny as far as like raising hell and attacking the older cats and all that stuff. But
what
she
about the
also
dog?
chirps and sings and all that stuff. But and my
What about
dog is
yeah?
sorry.
What about the dog? Do they get along?
Oh yeah, the dog is awesome. Whenever Penny was little, I had an older big gray cat, and
Mhm.
he just smacked her in the face the very first day. So she was instantly like scared or
Yeah.
respectful of cats. So it doesn't matter. I mean, she would take down a 300-pound man, but she will leave cats alone. It's hilarious.
Oh, good. Very good. I see pictures of her and she's so cute.
She is a sweetheart. She is at the park with my husband right now. So they're
Nice.
hanging out. So it would be quiet here for me to do my thing.
Nice. Nice. Cool.
Yeah. Well, do you have any advice for your younger self or for somebody who's wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Um, I already said don't go to college.
Yeah.
Um, practical advice.
Yeah.
Uh, Practical advice is don't go to college and take a class or get financially educated. I wish somebody taught me before 30 how to about finances. It's the most important thing. Learn to invest, very important. Learn to grow your portfolio, because being an artist sometimes income is up and down. It's a roller coaster. So having that knowledge is very important.
Mm.
And then go to therapy. I think if I had to do something different, I think uh, I would give myself that advice. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. I can't thank you enough for coming on here and chatting
Yeah,
with
of
me for a little
course.
bit
Yeah,
today.
for having me.
What are your socials? What's your main websites that you'd like people to come check out your artwork?
Oh, sure. My website is theartofrain.com. And my art Instagram is The Art of Rain. My tattoo Instagram is Ink by Rain.
Nice. Fantastic. And I do hope that Tashina takes you up on getting tattooed
Oh,
because that is a
yeah, that would
fun
be
road
great.
trip for me and I love your work. So,
Thank
yes, you that was something I didn't even throw in there. It's just like even though we're friends, that doesn't matter. It's the fact that you are seriously one of my all-time favorite artists. Your color
you.
palettes are so lush. Your anatomy is it just yeah, you paint dreams and I'm so grateful that you are out
Blushing,
there in
you
the
can't
world.
see it. I'm wearing too much foundation, but I am. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, any last words or you're good?
No, I think I'm good.
Well, thank you so much. And if I don't see you beforehand, I'll see you at a LuxCon.
Yeah, thanks and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
Bye.
Bye.